What's up, guys? Okay, so this show, holy fuck this show. So this is kind of like a sci-fi mystery thriller show with a main female protagonist who is alleged to have supernatural powers. I'm gonna say right off the bat that I highly recommend this show because it will divide a lot of people. And I've said this before about how I'm a really big fan of what Netflix is doing, like as far as like making business decisions about their TV shows and their movies and what have you. And this show is no different, but it was very, very frustrating. This is not a spoiler review, so I won't say anything, but the last episode is abysmally frustrating, but it's also good. I can't describe it. I cannot describe how I feel. And it's like I said, it's gonna divide people like nuts. I might do a spoiler review for it because it's just so fucking divisive. But the rest of the show is good. A lot of unknown actors in it, and most of them do a pretty good job. The one familiar face that you might see, Herschel from The Walking Dead. Love that guy. He does a great job as the female protagonist's dad, and I noticed this more so in the second half of the season, but the music actually has some really, really, really powerful moments. Like whenever it gets like super emotional, or in the very last episode, which I still don't know how to feel about, the music was still fucking spectacular. And it was kinda in your face, but not really. It was noticeable, but it blended very well with the show. And there is a trans character in this show, which is kinda nice to see. I ultimately don't think that that was necessary, though, to make the show. Unlike another series that I loved called Sense8, which you haven't seen that show, go watch it. There's a trans character in that show, but having a trans character actually served the story. Like, it really just, like, elevated the story to kind of another level by having a person of that nature in it. And this show, it really didn't matter. Like, with or without that trans character, the overall story does not change. So it was a little unnecessary, but it didn't hurt the show, and it was kind of nice to see that group of people being represented for once. And some of the acting in the show is a little bit hammy sometimes, but like 90% of the show, it's awesome. Oh, another person I forgot to mention, one of the Russian brothers from Daredevil is also in the show. And that guy is awesome. He needs to be in more stuff, seriously. Another really good thing is that the show is extremely well written. I'm still, again, up in the air about the last episode. But the rest of the show is very fleshed out. But the thing about TV, in a difference to movies, is that you have like a much longer amount of time to tell your story, which in turn allows for a much longer time to have character development. So you get to know your characters way, way, way better than you would in a movie, per se. And I liked the complexities with some of the parents. Give you an example, there's a character named Alfonso in the show, and his mom seems like a total piece of shit. Like, you see what she ultimately is as a person through one specific, like, group of dialogue, and it's kind of just like, I understand you, but you're still kind of a twat. And it's not just her. A lot of the characters have these eccentric layers to them, and I thought it was really good. And with that, you see them grow in a kind of very digestive pace throughout the series, and I thought that was really well done. And I would say that the show is well directed, but there's one thing about it that I don't like, and I'll touch on that in a minute. Because for the most part, it is well directed, and also some of the imagery that you see in the show is insane. Some of the visuals here I've not seen in anything before. Probably the closest thing I can compare it to is probably The Fountain. And the director of The Fountain is the same guy that did Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, Black Swan. And probably the worst part about the show is this kind of like rain dance thing. I won't say exactly what it's for. It looks like a douchey form of yoga that just gets really annoying, and I can't take the show seriously anytime I see it on screen. It is important to the show, but it could have been done better or differently or something. Like, why am I seeing interpretive dance in the middle of a sci-fi TV show? Don't get that. It could have just been a series of hand signals instead. Or something a little more muted, I don't fucking know. The dancing reminded me of Enchantress from Suicide Squad, and it was kind of annoying. But aside from that, and how I feel about the 8th episode, I really, really dug the show. Each episode ended on a note where you had to watch the next episode, so it was like very well paced. The backstory to everything was good, the visuals were fantastic. And plus you got a whole bunch of new actors that are probably gonna have careers now after the show. However, I do not know how to feel about the last episode, so due to my confusion, I'm gonna give the show an 8.1. This is a show that you definitely need to see, and no two people will say the exact same thing about it. It's just not possible. This will hit everybody completely differently. Everybody's gonna have a different reaction. That being said, if you have seen the show so far, drop me a comment, let me know what's up. Besides that, if you like this video, shoot me a like, subscribe, do all that other bullshit, and I'll catch you guys later.